Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Daily Word. It is Thursday of this first week of the month of August. Glad you could join me for our time together. It's kind of a cloudy day, but it's another day that we've been blessed with. So thanks for being with me as we continue our journey through the Word and what it means for us. And, specifically as we've talked about how it continues to apply to our daily lives, and how when we encounter things that it might guide us in a response to certain things in life. And so hopefully that is what it does for you, as it tries to do for me as I live my life. And so for this morning, these are probably familiar words that we hear from the book of Luke. It's after the resurrection, and a little bit of time has passed, and we hear these words. That same day, two of them were going to a village called Emmaus. And as they were talking about everything that happened, Jesus came up and walked with them, but they were kept from recognizing him. Every month on the first Wednesday of the month, the Crimson Bells, the Red Hat ladies, I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to call them. They always gather. They come here to the church. They talk about various things. I know they pass some books around that they all like to read. And then at a certain time, 11:15, we all go to lunch. And so someone chooses a lunch place. We lately have been staying in town, and we choose a place for lunch, and then we all go. And so we've been to lots of places in Sydney and in other places. Yesterday we made our way to Frisch's for lunch. Now you know that I go to Frisch's almost every morning for breakfast. Not this morning, and probably not tomorrow, but most days. But when I walked in, the waitress said, "Jim, what's going on?" Because I'd just been there about 4.5 hours earlier. And so I said, well, I'm meeting the ladies. So we went back and we ate and we had a grand time, and we laugh and we talk about folks in the church that need our prayers, and we share our life story together. And I was passing around pictures of my newest grandson who was born last Monday. And we just share our lives together. And we get done, and we just go our separate ways. And then next month, we'll do it again. I was reminded of them and our monthly lunch when we gather, when I read the scripture. Now, remember, these two disciples, they're fleeing to Emmaus. They had crucified Jesus. Their followers might be next. And so they are making their way to Emmaus, possibly, probably, most likely, as a way to protect themselves so that they can easily find safety. And along the way, Jesus meets them. Now, they don't know it's Jesus. The scripture that I read from the NIV version this morning said that they were kept from recognizing him. But Jesus, as we know the rest of the story, walked with them, and he said, "What are you talking about?" And they said, "Don't you know? You must be from out of town," because everybody knows the story. And they shared with him what had happened, and then they invited him to stay for dinner. Hospitality. And I got to thinking about them inviting Jesus for dinner, and how in the end, it finally dawned on them who he was, and how they said their hearts were warmed when they talked with him. We share our lives together. We live lives together in the church, in other organizations, not for some kind of payoff, but because in some way in our lives, our hearts are warmed by the presence of others. We offer hospitality. I go to lunch every month with the group of ladies, not because Jesus might show up, but it's because of a matter, I believe, of sharing our lives together, of meeting each other in a different place, in a different way, of laughing and joking and being connected to each other. To me, that gathering, the first Wednesday, for me personally, I'm not speaking for any of the ladies, is a matter of survival. You know, we're all exposed to the harsh elements of the world. We're all exposed to negativity. We're all exposed to hatred. We find ourselves in despair, in doom and gloom. We all find ourselves in those places. But the wondrous thing is that when we gather, like those two disciples on the way to Emmaus, they find their hearts warmed by sharing a basic human need, and that's food. Without you, I die. Without me, so do you. And maybe not in a literal sense, but in a deeper sense than that. Without each other, we die. We just find less in our living. And so for us, as we live in community, as we live in what we know as St. Paul's United Church of Christ, as we live in this community, this digital community that you and I know as the Daily Word, we need each other. We need each other. We are bound together by the breaking of bread. We're bound together by sharing our lives with each other. We're bound together because in the end, you know, we really need each other to live. And these disciples, in the end, when they invited him to stay for dinner, realized that it was Jesus, and their hearts were warmed. And then, we know the story, right? They go rushing back to tell everybody else what had happened. In their escaping, fleeing, finding safety, they find Jesus, and they go back to tell everybody else. Pretty soon, you know, I got to thinking about it this morning. Pretty soon, kids are going back to school. School is a tough place, we know. We have kids who are going to college from here. We have kids who are going to be seniors. Kids who are advancing to the next stage. The world is, you know, it's this interesting, tough place. It always has been. I'm not sure it's any tougher than it ever was. I just think that it's imperative for us to be connected. It's imperative for us to find community with each other. And then, you know, share the good news with anyone who will listen. That's what these two disciples did, and I think that's what we did yesterday at lunchtime. It's fun. We laugh a lot. But then I'm reminded of our connection. You know, that everybody when they left, see you Sunday, see you Sunday, see you Sunday. We are connected. Might we find ways in our lives to stay connected to each other? Because, as I said before, without you, I die, and without me, so do you. And we need each other. So, should we live our lives in such a way that we find ways to connect and find Jesus in the midst of those connections? So, That's the daily word for this day as it strikes me. I hope there's a piece of it that speaks to you today. If not, we'll try again tomorrow. But in the meantime, know of God's love that surrounds you in amazing ways. Know of the heartwarming experience of Jesus in your life. Know of my love for you, and I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Have a great day.